Hi. Okay. Today we're going to talk about the non-physical brain, the mind, and the subconscious. How the non-physical brain is formed. To start out with, if you have any problems with bad words or some pictures, uh, be aware that there's going to be some in this video. Okay. First of all, let's start out by saying that when we are small, little babies, we start seeing things, and when we see things, we don't have names for them, so we're amazed of everything we see and stuff like that. And at the same time, our caretaker parents or whatever it is teaches us what this means, what that is called, and all that stuff. So once, suppose you look at a book, but you don't have a name for it, and once they tell you that's a book, you have that information, and that information goes to the subconscious like a library. You have that library where I say, okay, that's a book there, okay. But beyond the words or whatever things are, once you give it a name, you're not looking at it the same way you were amazed before, You give it a name, it's an object. And beyond that, some name, phrases, and stuff like that, you learn to give it a meaning or a feeling to it. There's a feeling to it. For example, let's take the book. It's just an example. Say you have any book and you don't use it anymore, or it's just there. So with any book, it's a book, there's just words and then letters, like any other book, just letters and words. And you might just give it to somebody else or recycle it, But for some people, if that book with letters and words, just like any other book, this is just an example. It's called the Bible. They give it a meaning, a feeling to it, like you can't touch it, Like so many things, just like that book, we install in the subconscious a lot of information that is learned from our childhood. When we are very young, we are like sponges, We get all the information, stuff like that. And all that goes to the subconscious. Now the subconscious is the non-physical brain, I call it. So let's start first, for you to have understanding. There's some things the brain and mind can't codify to understand. I'll give you an example. We think there is space and time. space and stuff like that. And it would be very hard to us to understand that everything could be in one same place. You're looking at me right now, and you see behind me things, and you see my hand in front of me instead of beside me and all that stuff. Okay, but if you look and tap on that glass there, you would find it is solid. You can't go through it, but the mind sometimes can't understand that. The brain. It understands it has to have a distance, and so I have to explain it according to what the mind and brain understands, codifies. That's why if I talk of distance or time or whatever, is what we understand. It doesn't mean it's that way really. But it's what we humans understand. And okay, everything has our body, even if we see it like solid. Nothing is really solid. Even I could touch myself and say, yeah, I'm solid. No. We are made of cells, atoms, and a lot of things. And there's a chemical process inside us, and there's electricity, there's waves, frequencies, magnetism, a whole lot of things that we're made of, And all that, what you don't see is made of that too. Let me give you another example. I try to write down some examples so you understand what I'm saying. Take an ice cube. You got an ice cube, okay? If you take it out of the refrigerator, you leave it there for a while, that ice cube will turn into water. And if I got that water and I boiled it, it would evaporate, and that's what it would be until it's gone. So we got 3 different forms that we could see of one thing changing according to what it is in, but beyond the evaporation, it still exists. What we can't see is that. So that would be the non-physical brain I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go back a little bit. So we learn all this information, and while we're learning all this information when we're a child, we start noticing we got a body and stuff like that. Well, all that goes to the subconscious library. I told you about this. In the subconscious, in the non-physical brain. And we make an image also of our body. We have to have it. When you imagine something, you're imagining, suppose your body, you know where your hands are at, or your head, or your arms and legs, All that process of knowing was taken to the subconscious, the non-physical brain. Our brain, let's take it like, take a dead body, as we would call it. The brain is just an organ or whatever, you know. It's just there. It doesn't have any life with it or anything. When it comes alive, when we are alive, our human bodies, that's where the mind appears. The mind ain't physical. The mind is the switch that turns on the brain. We work with the subconscious, and the subconscious is a non-physical thing. The mind is a non-physical thing. Okay, I'm using the word mind as a word. Okay, it's just a word. Maybe if you look it up in the dictionary or scientifically, whatever, they tell you the mind is this, and they'll say, I'm saying it's beyond the physical. The brain functions according to the mind. What passes through the mind. Okay? If you would have a scan, you could see your brain lighten up. So people would say, oh, no, it's the brain working. No, it's the mind giving information to the brain. Okay? And the mind is a non-physical thing.